Crazy Horse was more than just a warrior, he was a living legend who led his people with unmatched courage and unwavering purpose. This is the story of a Lakota hero whose life defied conquest, and whose spirit still rides through the heart of Native resistance. Born around 1840, near the Black Hills of South Dakota, Crazy Horse was a member of the Oglala Lakota tribe. His birth name was Cha'olha, meaning, among the trees. From a young age, he showed signs of unusual calmness, independence, and spiritual sensitivity, traits that marked him as different. His father was a medicine man named Crazy Horse, and his mother was believed to be from the Brule band. As was Lakota tradition, he inherited his father's name after completing a vision quest. This sacred right would forever change his life and identity. During his youth, Crazy Horse experienced a powerful vision after wandering alone for 4 days without food or water. He saw a man riding through a storm untouched by lightning, with feathers floating above his head, symbolizing protection and destiny. This vision would guide his life and tactics. The Lakota people lived in close harmony with nature. Young Crazy Horse was taught hunting, horse riding, and warfare through traditional tribal teachings. He was not known for boasting but for his quiet resolve and extraordinary bravery, qualities that inspired his peers and worried his enemies. His slender build and light skin earned him the nickname, Curly, in his youth. But despite his mild appearance, he was fierce in spirit. He avoided alcohol, ignored tribal politics, and rarely spoke in councils, yet warriors followed him without hesitation. His leadership came from action, not words. As Crazy Horse matured, he witnessed the increasing encroachment of white settlers. Broken treaties, buffalo slaughter, and forced relocation stirred his hatred for U.S. expansion. His early experiences forged a warrior with a sacred purpose, to defend the Lakota way of life at any cost. The strength of Crazy Horse was not born in isolation, it was deeply rooted in the sacred values, warrior traditions, and teachings of the Lakota people. To understand his courage, one must first understand the code that shaped him and every warrior of his generation. Lakota society emphasized honor, humility, bravery, and generosity. These weren't mere traits, they were sacred virtues. From childhood, every Lakota boy was taught that strength without compassion, or courage without purpose, was meaningless. Crazy Horse absorbed these teachings and embodied them fully throughout his life. Warriors weren't made through weapons but through discipline and vision. The Lakota practiced physical endurance and spiritual strength. Boys trained with elders, hunted buffalo, and endured pain rituals to build resilience. Crazy Horse's training was both physical and spiritual, his vision guided every step he took. The warrior code required selflessness. Stealing horses from enemies, counting coup by touching foes without killing, or sacrificing for the tribe earned true respect. Crazy Horse never sought fame or wealth, he fought only to protect his people and their sacred lands from invasion. The sun dance was the Lakota's most sacred ceremony. Warriors pierced their flesh in painful rituals to show dedication to the Creator and the tribe. Crazy Horse never boasted of his participation, but his sacrifices in battle reflected the same devotion and spiritual endurance. Elders and medicine men taught the importance of visions and dreams. Crazy Horse's vision was seen as a divine message. He wore no war paint or feathers, following the guidance from his vision. He believed this would protect him, and others soon saw him as untouchable. Lakota training wasn't about creating killers, it was about shaping guardians of the people. Crazy Horse became a living symbol of this path. His calm courage, spiritual strength, and refusal to abandon tradition made him the ultimate embodiment of the Lakota warrior spirit. As the 19th century progressed, the Lakota homeland came under increasing threat. Settlers, gold miners, and soldiers pushed westward, violating treaties and disrupting sacred lands. For Crazy Horse, this was no longer about tribal honor, it became a fight for survival, identity, and the future of his people. The Fort Laramie Treaty of 1851 promised Lakota control over their lands. But when gold was discovered in the Black Hills, U.S. interest quickly turned into intrusion. Crazy Horse, then a young warrior, began leading small raids against settlers and military outposts to defend Lakota territory. One of Crazy Horse's earliest notable battles occurred in 1865 along the North Platte River. He ambushed soldiers using brilliant decoy tactics. His courage, silence, and creativity in warfare quickly earned him a reputation as a fearless and unpredictable leader among the Lakota. He rose to greater prominence during Red Cloud's War, 1866 to 1868, when he led successful attacks against U.S. forts along the Bozeman Trail. His ambush at the Fetterman Fight in 1866 resulted in 81 U.S. soldiers being killed, then the Army's worst defeat on the plains. Crazy Horse rejected peace talks that required relocation or submission. He refused to move to reservations or accept U.S. authority, believing it betrayed the ancestors and the earth. His resistance was spiritual as much as military, a sacred duty to protect Lakota sovereignty. Though outnumbered and outgunned, Crazy Horse's knowledge of terrain and guerrilla warfare kept U.S. troops off balance. His swift attacks, confusing decoys, and refusal to engage in direct, large-scale battles allowed him to harass and weaken better-equipped forces for years. By the 1870s, Crazy Horse had become a symbol of native resistance. His raids were no longer just offensive, they were acts of defiance against an empire. His fight represented not just territory but the survival of a way of life under siege. The Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876 marked the greatest Native American military victory against the U.S. Army. At the center of this historic clash stood Crazy Horse, silent, fearless, and decisive. This was not just a battle, it was a defiant roar against annihilation. Tensions soared as gold seekers flooded the sacred Black Hills, violating treaties. The U.S. demanded the Lakota return to reservations by January 1876. Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull refused. With thousands of warriors, they gathered on the plains to defend their homeland with one final stand. General George Armstrong Custer led the 7th Cavalry into Montana Territory. Underestimating the size and resolve of the Lakota and Cheyenne alliance, he split his forces. Crazy Horse, alert and tactically brilliant, moved swiftly to encircle and crush the advancing troops. On June 25, Crazy Horse charged with a decoy group to draw Custer's men into a trap. His fearless ride inspired mass momentum. Warriors swarmed the battlefield with bows, rifles, and sheer determination. Custer's men were outnumbered, confused, and overwhelmed by the ferocity of the counterattack. Within hours, Custer and all his men were dead, over 260 soldiers wiped out. It was a stunning blow to U.S. pride. Crazy Horse had played a decisive role, not just in tactics but in galvanizing unity among tribes who rarely stood together. While Sitting Bull had provided spiritual leadership and visions, Crazy Horse provided steel-hard action. Survivors of the battle later testified to Crazy Horse's fearlessness, riding directly into gunfire and leading every charge. His bravery turned the tide and carved his name into legend. Despite the victory, retaliation was swift and brutal. The U.S. would not forgive the humiliation. But for one brief moment, under Crazy Horse's leadership, Native America had triumphed against impossible odds, and reminded the world they would not surrender quietly. By 1877, Crazy Horse had become the most hunted man in America. The U.S. government, humiliated at Little Bighorn, launched relentless campaigns. The buffalo were gone, supplies were scarce, and his people were starving. Crazy Horse now faced an impossible choice: surrender or watch his nation die. Harsh winters and constant military pressure shattered resistance. Crazy Horse's band struggled to survive. Many Lakota leaders, exhausted and hopeless, surrendered. Crazy Horse held out until May 6, 1877, when he finally rode into Camp Robinson, Nebraska, hoping to save his people, not himself. He was promised peace and land. But mistrust simmered. Crazy Horse refused to become a showpiece or puppet. He would not sign documents or obey white orders. His independence was mistaken for rebellion. Soon, Army officials and rival Lakota leaders began plotting behind closed doors. Rumors spread that Crazy Horse planned to escape or attack. His old enemies among the Lakota, especially Red Cloud and Spotted Tail, turned against him. On September 5, 1877, soldiers moved to arrest him under false pretenses. He didn't resist, until he realized the betrayal too late. As he was being led into the guardhouse, a struggle broke out. A soldier plunged a bayonet into Crazy Horse's side. Witnesses claimed he was held down. He collapsed, refusing to speak to white doctors. By nightfall, the legendary warrior was dead, wrapped in silence. His body was secretly taken away by his parents. To this day, no one knows where Crazy Horse is buried. The mystery only deepened his legend. The U.S. silenced him in life, but could never erase the memory of the man who would not bend. Betrayed by both friend and foe, Crazy Horse died not as a defeated man, but as a warrior loyal to his vision. His final moments embodied the pain of a crushed nation, and the unbreakable soul of the Lakota people. Though Crazy Horse died in 1877, his spirit was never buried. Among Native Americans, his name became sacred, spoken with reverence, remembered in silence. Crazy Horse wasn't just a warrior of the past, he became a symbol of unyielding resistance, identity, and the undying soul of the Lakota people. For decades, the U.S. government tried to erase him. No photographs exist. His grave is hidden. But this absence only fed the myth. Tribes told stories by firelight, of his visions, his humility, his power. He became larger than life, more spirit than man. The Crazy Horse Memorial, carved into Thunderhead Mountain in South Dakota, honors his legacy. Still unfinished after decades, it is the world's largest mountain carving. Sculpted by Korczak Zolkowski and the Lakota, it aims to show Crazy Horse pointing toward his land, declaring defiance eternally. Lakota elders say that Crazy Horse's spirit rides with those who resist. His life has inspired civil rights leaders, indigenous movements, and artists. His vision quest, his refusal to sign treaties, and his sacrifice echo in every struggle for native sovereignty today. In classrooms and reservations, children learn his story, not from textbooks, but from elders. They learn that real leadership means self-sacrifice. Crazy Horse fought not for power but for survival, justice, and the right to live without chains. That message still lives in Lakota hearts. Unlike other war heroes, Crazy Horse rejected fame. He never allowed portraits, never gave speeches. His greatest act of resistance was staying true to his people, no matter the cost. That purity has made him one of the most admired Native American figures in history. Crazy Horse's name is now a whisper of rebellion. A spirit galloping over the plains, beyond capture. He lives wherever people rise against oppression, wherever voices say no to erasure. In that eternal resistance, Crazy Horse still rides, wild, free, and unforgotten. Thanks for watching Buried Truths. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden corners of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more powerful stories from history's hidden vault. See you in the next video.